And we are live. Good afternoon, Deanna. How are you?
I am good, Dantana. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Even better now, Deanna. Let me say right now that even at the head of the show, we have some breaking news. Deanna, where are you? I can't even see you. Did you move your body positioning? There. Yes. There we are. There we are. There, I found you. I was worried that you'd be lingering too much off to the side. Deanna, guess who we've got in the gallery today?
Who?
Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk, let's give a big round of applause and a welcome
Yay!
to Captain Kirk, calling in all the way from PA. Kirk, how are you? So exciting to have you here, as always.
Is he in the YouTube messages?
He is indeed. He is indeed chatting us up, saying hello.
Hi, Kirk. I miss you.
Oh, Kirk, we miss you every day. We chat about you every single day. Let me tell you. Talking about Kirk extensively on Tuesday, actually, weren't we, Deanna?
Yes, we're always talking about Kirk.
Always talking about Kirk.
Oh, okay. I see. My head is missing. If I go too
Yeah, exactly. I was like, where did your head go? I was just staring at the blank corner of the room.
far. Okay. I have a head.
Yes, yes, there's the head. Exactly. Exactly. Out of all the things that we talked about on Tuesday, this wasn't one of them, getting this all straightened out.
Making sure I have a head.
And making sure that you have a head and having it well in place in the in the frame. Next meeting for sure. We had a lot to talk about. We had a lot to chat through, did we not, Deanna?
We did. We had a really lovely walking meeting. Is that what you're talking about? Or another
Oh
meeting?
yeah, for sure.
uh, where we went over our goals and what we see with the documentary and future documentaries as well. And we walked one of the doggies that I'm watching.
It was so cute. That ladybug.
I'm so glad you got to meet Ladybug.
Yeah, me too. Me too. An absolute A1 beagle if I've ever met one.
Gorgeous girl.
But somehow, in the middle of dog watching, which Deanna has figured out a perfect little life hack on that one, but in the middle of dog watching, somehow still managed to hatch out a larger plan for what it is that we're working on here. I think, Deanna and I, given we're both, we live busy lives, I think, and sometimes we're not able so well to have our schedules gel and be able to work on the same thing at the same time. And I don't know about you, Deanna, but I think those times are travesties.
I hate those times.
I can't stand those times. I basically never want to go through one again. But thankfully, now in the same place, in the same time, and we finally have eyes on finishing this documentary, which is big, big news. That's actually part of the project that Deanna is working on today. You see, we have been chatting for a while about how it would be really fun to do some little interstitial title cards for our individual chapters. As we've been discussing in previous streams, we've been shooting a documentary at the Gathering of the Juggalos in Ohio since 2022, and we've been releasing it on our YouTube channel. And here, let me pull up our fancy new lower third chyrons. Our YouTube channel, Juggalo Family Values, which you can find over on YouTube. We've been posting clips every night at 7:12 p.m. You're going to find a new clip from the documentary. And of course, as Deanna said to me this morning when she was chatting with me on the phone, the people are hungering for more of this documentary. They're dying to see
Ravenous.
more of it. They're absolutely ravenous, would you say, Deanna? Didn't you say you had some comments last night on another stream that you were doing?
All one of the comments was asking for seeing more of this.
All right, we have an audience of one, thank goodness. Absolutely
all
fantastic.
of our fans.
Yes, yes. Thank you to the one fan. I'm so excited to have them out here. Hopefully, it's Jeremy Hayes who is in the chat over on TikTok. But of course, as Captain Kirk says in the chat, we want more. It's a constant refrain that we hear from the Juggalos and just from strangers alone. Deanna and I were talking about our goals earlier today, or rather on Tuesday earlier this week. And she asked, what are some goals that I would want to have with this documentary? And one of the things that I said, and I feel this very strongly, is I would like to have 10 people come up to us at the gathering this year in August when we go in Ohio. And I'd like to have 10 people come up to us and say, hey, you guys are the reason why we came to the gathering. That's I think a little bit high-minded, a little bit lofty of a goal. I hope that it's accomplishable. I genuinely do. But it seems as though we genuinely have some people that are in this audience that are not Juggalos, are not familiar with the world, and yet are coming out into the comments and coming into the DMs saying, hey, I'm not a Juggalo, but I want to go to the gathering. This looks fantastic. So we were chatting. We were saying, hey, that's kind of a loftier, high-minded goal. But how can we do so? We need to release the larger documentary. And Deanna is actually working on an art project now around this documentary. Deanna, do you want to walk us through what it is that you're working on here?
I sure will, Dan. I would also like to say it would be a funny goal to have 10 people say, I absolutely did not go because of you guys. Today we are going to work on a block carving. So I have some of the ICP cards printed out in reverse. This is a rubber block, and I've already used some of it. So that's why there's a cutout. And then this is going to be some transfer paper. So I'm going to be taking, this part is basically all graphite. And then you can lay it down flat on the stamp. And I'm going to be transferring this image onto the stamp and then carving it as we talk. And it's a super easy process, so I thought it would be fun to show how to do it.
I'm already loving the look of these. You actually did make some of these for last year's gathering, didn't you? You had some cards ready to go with some of the Joker cards on them.
I did. I brought some of the stamps so I would be able to make just on the fly some prints for people. And I gave 2 of the stamps to Boogie and Bloody. And when I brought it out, Bloody was like, "You're a crafty little bee."
Oh, and guess who else is in the chat right now, Deanna? It's Mystic.
Mystic, hi. We're gonna show some clips of you today. We're so excited. Dan, do you want to share the news?
Oh, I sure do. Biggest news of all to come out of this week, Deanna. Biggest news of all, we are going to be having our first ever guest on next week's show. That's right. You heard it here, Deanna. Yeah. Try to contain yourself, Deanna. Try not to get too excited, but this is news above all news. We're going to have Mystic on next week as a guest.
I am so looking forward to that, and I'm so grateful that Mystic is going to pop in and talk to us.
Me too. I think we've got a lot to catch up on. I think we've got a lot to chat through. Those of us in the audience who maybe are not familiar, who haven't watched the shorts, let me tell you something. When we screen this documentary for anybody, their absolute favorite person on screen is Mystic. It seems to be a fan favorite every time. People cannot get enough Mystic. Deanna, wouldn't you say the same?
For good reason. I think Mystic is just aesthetically looks amazing on screen.
Oh, unquestionably. Look at them here. Unbelievable. This is in fact the opening clip that we have in this documentary is Mystic talking to us about this character, Montana Black. Let's take a look now, Deanna.
All right, so where are you from?
I am Mystic, and from wherever the wind takes me.
I have seen you, so I saw you the other day. Assuming today you're in a different character.
This character is Montana Black, rock star, selling his soul, trying to gain it back. Kind of like my pet here, my head. Is this conscious here? You know, this is conscious.
All right.
Wait, Deanna, what happened there?
I don't know.
What was going on in the background there?
I'm sorry, Dan.
It seemed like something catastrophic happened.
Not super catastrophic. It's just so zoomed in, like aggressively. Oh, and Dan, you're not gonna be happy. I paused it. Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, is this the art cam?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. I was too focused on the clip. That is very close up.
I know, I don't know how to undo that.
Looking great.
Okay, it's just gonna be very high up.
And again, guys, thank you so much for your patience as we work out the technical issues with the show. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Oh, but Deanna, I actually love that angle on the carving. That looks amazing.
Okay, good.
Yeah. One of life's happy accidents, Deanna.
That's me.
So Mystic, a constant voice throughout the documentary as we have it so far. As we've been posting these clips to YouTube, which I'll just reiterate again, you can check us out on YouTube at Juggalo Family Values is the channel name, Juggalo Family Values. We can be found on YouTube. We're posting the clips of the documentary every evening at 7:12 p.m. Every evening, you can see them there. And yeah, Mystic has always just gotten a really big reaction from people. People are really, I think, immediately interested in them and what they have to say. I think that from our experience for Deanna and I, like sort of really most interesting thing for me was wandering around and seeing that Mystic was like unquestionably the star of the gathering one year. Like we watched him watched them go from being out in the parking lot and gathering a lot of eyeballs and people seeing them to like riding around on a golf cart with Clownvis by the end of the weekend and just being like a full-on rock star at the gathering. Really amazing to see. And by the end of the weekend, like everyone knew who Mystic was. A lot of the comments on these videos are like, oh, that's my homie Mystic. It's just people who are generally just excited to see them.
Do we have some cute Mystic clips we can show of the documentary?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Here, let's take a look at this other one. This is actually like a really great clip. It is Mystic talking about how they were first introduced to the Insane Clown Posse and discovering their song Chicken Huntin', which this is featuring some interviews and footage that Deanna and I shot there in 2023. Let's take a look now.
I was 14 at the time. I was listening to Chicken Huntin', the Slaughterhouse remix. And I was trying to figure out what album it came from. It came from the Real Boss. I was 14 at the time.
I love the ICP live performance so much. I'm such a huge fan. I'm always such a huge fan. Love Mystic and their ability to put words onto what first drives them into the scene and first gets them interested in ICP and in the Insane Clown Posse. Really just such a tremendously strong voice that speaks throughout the documentary. I think there's a handful of clips that I do want to get to later in the show that are Mystic involved that I think we just can't put up on TikTok right now because of the content filters, but we will get to those a little bit later in the hour for sure. But plenty of Mystic clips to play, of course, and cannot wait to chat with them next week. And that's going to be on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, Mystic will be on video too. So if we do have Mystic here still on comments, I love that as well, but it will be great to see Mystic's face.
Oh, yes. Mystic will most definitely be
Mhm.
joining us. And naturally, Deanna, Mystic is in the chat, as is Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk, who would assure us that he would also love to be interviewed on the show.
I would absolutely adore that, please.
Yeah, Kirk, you must know that you were only seconds away from being the next person that we wanted to chat with on the show, for sure. I hope you know that, Kirk, naturally.
Yeah, we're your biggest fans.
Oh, I absolutely love Kirk so much. I'm such a huge fan. Captain Kirk, who we all have grown to know and love. Let's see, can we pull up a Captain Kirk clip? Let's see here. Oh,
We
this
have so
one.
many good ones.
I love this one right here. This one is Captain Kirk and his wife Bubbles, who are walking along. And I chatted with them a little bit about their relationship. They've been together for quite a long time. I love this clip so much. Yeah, just love this clip so much. Let's take a look now.
Bubbles, how long have the two of you been married?
We have been married, this will be 2 years?
2 years.
2 years. We've been dating on and off for about 17 to 18
Hell
years.
yeah.
She was high school sweetheart.
Yeah. I went to a Backstreet Boys concert. He was best friends with my sister and met him. I had to wait for him to get his act together, but yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yep, I wasn't ready mentally. I wanted her, but mentally I wasn't ready. So
How did you know when you were ready?
When he got clean.
Bubbles, how long have the two of you been married?
Oh, I love that clip. Love that clip so much. Kirk also says, going to make me cry. I love this clip. As do I. Huge, huge fan of that portrait as well of Bubbles and Kirk here. 18 years together, my God.
Bubbles is also welcome to come on as well.
Oh yeah, we should absolutely do a little couple
We should
show.
play
Kirk,
we should play the newlywed game.
do you want to play the
Or
newlywed
What
game?
is it called? The honeymoon game or the newlywed?
It's the newlywed game. The newlywed game. We should also play $10,000 Pyramid, Deanna, as long as we're getting into the old game shows. You want to do the newlywed game? I would totally be down for that. A little
I'm
Juggalo
so down.
newlywed game. Kirk, if you might be interested, maybe we'll pass that along to Bubbles and see what she thinks.
Yes, please. That'd be so fun.
Oh, yes, please. Let's figure out how to do that. Kirk is down for the newlywed game. All right, excellent.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Successes and victories all around.
I know. What a wonderful day.
I know, right? It's kicking off the weekend in glorious style. Again, thank you so much for joining us here in the early afternoon on this Friday. My name is Dan. This right here is Deanna. And we have been producing a documentary called Juggalo Family Values, which has been premiering on YouTube on a channel of the same name, Juggalo Family Values. It's a documentary that we've been producing at the Gathering of the Juggalos in Ohio every year. We've been going there since 2022 and have been airing clips from the documentary on YouTube for the last couple of months. Been super excited for it to be finding an audience, and thank goodness finally being finished, Deanna. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, I could work on it forever too. It feels kind of like a living, breathing document.
Oh, it will never be done.
Yeah.
Not ever. That's why I asked you that question a couple of weeks ago, whether I was like, hey, do you feel as though like when you're working on a piece, like, is it ever finished or done? And you essentially were like, no, you could always tinker with it and you could always keep going and there's always something else to do.
Exactly. I mean, it will be nice to have the full product out so that people can see. We've been releasing the clips as they come out, and I feel like all of those are wonderful as a standalone, but I think we did put a lot of time and effort and just thought into how we organized the entire documentary. So I think being able to see it in its totality I think it's really strong, and I think it has some really beautiful moments and silly moments, and all of the people that we interviewed are in a sort of conversation with each other throughout the movie.
Completely. I completely agree. Yeah, it's fun to like I think as we've been posting it and it's just been these individual clips and um you know as we've been putting them out there I think they've been sort of without form and or without that overall structure but there's something that like I see in my head where I'm like yeah that section of clips over there is chapter 1 and to me like I watch them back and I'm like yeah this is definitively chapter 1 like it's done it's ready to roll. um
Do you want to explain what you mean by like the chapters?
Oh, yes, of course, because no one's actually seen this or knows what I'm talking about, Deanna. Thank you so much. So, when Deanna and I first got back in 2023, after we had done a lot of filming for, what we had planned as the documentary, and we started to break it down of like what are the big things that we want to tell about this world and what is it that we want to see and what are the big themes that we're talking about and had a large session in which we were talking about that and I was sort of like I think that we could divide these up into individual chapters as far as what we see and we did a lot of work that ended up on this board back here, this board that laid out the vision for the documentary chapter by chapter. And when we finally got back in and we knew what it was that we'd shot, we decided that we had about 5 chapters worth of a documentary and breaking them down. So they are thematically broken down. We've been releasing them pretty much in the order that they are in the documentary right now. So if you've really been closely following the clips and the shorts, we are just now starting on chapter 3. um and overall each one of them sort of will follow an individual segment and sort of a larger question. Like one of the opening chapter is who is a juggalo and sort of explains who it is that we're chatting with and the people like Captain Kirk and like Mystic that help to tell this story and help us to show us this world and are really ambassadors for this world. And so it's sort of getting an idea of who they are. Chapter 2 focuses a little bit more on the music of the Insane Clown Posse and its messaging and what that means to people. Chapter 3, which we're getting into now, delves into people's home life and the idea of family and like what is the family that you're born into versus the family that you find elsewhere, which is something that is kind of can't be denied when you go to the gathering that there's a strong, strong sense of family over all there. Chapter 4 is about outside perception of what the outside world thinks about juggalos and things like the gathering. And I think we answered a lot of larger questions too around like what is it that how is it that you are perceived when you are perceived as an outsider. um and then chapter 5 really is sort of delving into some of the harder aspects of this life and sort of the more difficult things. I think people opened up and got very personal with us there, and showed us a lot about what their lives look like and who they are. And yeah, I think a lot of that really is driven home in chapter 5. And then we also have segments dealing with some light juggalo trivia. Perhaps, although I don't know. We'll see whether or not that makes it in the final cut, Deanna. We'll see. I don't love any of it. I hate myself on camera.
Really?
Well, I get annoyed with it. I don't like looking at that footage. That was the day that I yelled at you, so it's not great memories around that. You got very upset with me while we were doing that, and so every time that I watch it back, I remember that.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
after when you apologized, you're like, I'm going to absolutely loathe having to watch back this footage.
Yes,
Like
yes.
in the moment, you're like, this is not going to be fun.
No, no, and it never has been, and it's like something that every time I go back to it, I'm like, yeah, forget this. I don't want anything to do with this.
Aw.
This is when Deanna's feelings were hurt.
Yeah, I got my feelings hurt.
Yeah, yeah.
But we healed it pretty quickly, and you gave me a
No,
really
no.
loving and true apology, and you're able to see through my eyes what maybe was hurtful.
I think we were just on the wrong page. I did not do a good job of communicating what it is that I was looking for.
We always make it work, Dan.
I know, exactly.
our
Again, we're here. We're on live. You've granted me access to your wonderful audience of people that comes here to watch you do work, and now they have to see me and hear my voice.
They get to.
I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would subject them to that, but that's fine. It's fine.
Dan.
We've got fans. Look, we've got people in the chat right now. Really excited, saying your makeup is always bomb. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. Was that? It was, okay. Never mind. We've got Rocket Scott saying, "Hey Dan, what's good, Rocket Scott?"
I thought there was more after that.
No, it's just Rocket Scott saying hello. I thought there was more after that too, but apparently
I
not.
like to say, hey, Dan.
Hey Dan, yeah, what's up? Hey, how are you? And Mystic saying they love my voice.
Who doesn't?
Ooh, gosh, I love a
But
compliment.
do not give him a megaphone.
I am wondering when the time is when I break that out. You'll rue the day. You'll rue the day.
You woke me up in the hotel room with.
I discovered that
the most angry face I've ever made at you, actually.
I discovered that Deanna had like a violent physical spasm reaction to every time that I blasted the megaphone siren in her face.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, naturally, because it was really frightening and unsettling, but I still love doing it like every morning in order to wake her up. Watching her entire body fly like I just hit her with buckshot.
And look at us. We're still alive. Both of us.
I will tell you that I really have enjoyed like that megaphone. Every time that I get to bust it out, I have a great time with it. I like making my voice even a little bit louder than it already is. And also the other people that really get into and stoked at the idea of using a megaphone. Like I had one out on Halloween as all the kids were coming out. And I was using it, and a friend of mine was like, Dan, you have to stop. You can't do that. You can't do that out here in public. And then within 15 minutes, he was on the megaphone yelling at kids and their parents about how they needed to come down and be a part of our trick or treat mania and giveaway.
Are you talking about Daniel?
Yes.
Other Dan.
Other Dan. Dan won. Dan won.
Do you want to play more Mystic clips? I didn't mean to say that Mystic is important to the documentary only due to the aesthetic quality, like just incredible to look at. And I feel like the fact that they changed their outfits so many times throughout, it lends itself to like a timeline as well. I think that's really cool. But I think Mystic is just a really kind, sweet, interesting person. And I think, I could tell I would be so nervous if somebody were interviewing me about my life and I could tell that there's some anxiety, but they opened up so quickly to us and gave us, just such a little peek into their world. And I'm really grateful for that. Let's
take a look at this clip here. This is one of my favorite of Mystic's clips, I would say. Yeah, let's take a look at this one.
My mom did not approve of it at all. She did not. She was like, what the fuck are they talking about? And and my mom was like those like full on African American women that would like put a belt to your ass if she like hears something that's like talking about balls and shit like that. My mom did not approve.
I love that clip so much, mostly because it just falls in line with you ask somebody at the gathering, how did you get into this? And they immediately start talking about their family. And there is many other clips too, especially in the next chapter, which is a part of what we're releasing in the shorts now, that focuses on people's family and home life. And I just love this reaction of like hearing that Mystic's mom initially was just not down at all with the idea of the Juggalos, and didn't like the content in the music, didn't like the sound. As where you have other people like Chance, who like seemed to have grown up in that world. His mom was a huge fan and was a Juggalo. Kirk as well talks in his interview at another portion about how his dad was an old school metalhead who then eventually became a Juggalo. Um, there's just a lot in these clips that give you an idea of people's home life and who they are and the world that it is that they came from. And I just love that so much. So I can't wait to talk to Mystic next week. We're going to have him on next Thursday. He'll be joining us on the show live here in the studio.
I am so excited.
Me too. Me too.
I'm going to restart.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like usually I can like problem solve in the moment, but I've never had this happen before where the transfer paper didn't do the transferring part.
Okay.
So here's the paper on the other side. And it's very, very faint that I would kind of be able to, but for example, here's like the level that it can get to, so I don't know. But we shall see. I love that I started out doing this. I was like, this is an easy process that I can
And now it's like balling it up and throwing it in the garbage, and we're starting over again.
That's okay. That happens.
That's okay. That happens. That's the way that it works. That's what happens when you're making stuff, Deanna. Sometimes if you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs.
And get some chickens.
Oh, we should get some chickens.
Should we?
I don't know. It seems like a huge pain.
They have a chicken rental in Atlanta.
Shut up. What?
It's called the City Chick.
How much per week to rent a chicken?
It's reasonable.
Do they bring you a coop?
They do.
So it's coop involved as well. And then you keep the eggs?
Yeah. What? They're not going to tax you on the eggs.
I thought they might. I don't know.
Yeah, you keep the eggs.
I didn't know whether or not they had some...
A man comes around, he's like, well, your eggs.
Yeah.
You keep the eggs, and it's nice too because it's just a rental, so it's like a monthly system. I'm sorry, we're getting into chicken talk instead of ICP.
No, let's talk chickens, please. Does anybody in the chat mind if we talk chickens for a second?
Absolutely, chickens. So I like that it's a monthly thing, so you don't commit to the chickens unless, like, you could buy them eventually in the coop and everything. But I do like that people, you know how a lot of people in Georgia specifically got teacup pigs and then they realized that teacup pigs aren't real.
Wait, what?
Have you not heard of this?
No, I'm not familiar with this at all.
A bunch of people are like, oh, these teacup pigs are so cute, and they were really tiny, but they're just baby pigs.
And then they grow into full-size pigs eventually.
And then the pigs got bigger, and people are like, I didn't sign up for a whole hog. This is a lot of hog. And then they started just releasing them into the wild.
Are they now wild boars?
They may have become wild boars. I don't know.
Like a feralized, like domesticated pig don't scare me so bad.
What?
I mean, what are they gonna do?
They're scary.
Boars are, because they have those big tusks and they're huge.
They would eat you in a second.
But I think I'd have to be already dead.
No, just incapacitated.
Well, it sounds like you've got a plan going.
I do.
Yeah, all right, great. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Yet another person praying for my downfall. Why don't we watch another clip from the documentary, Deanna, before we start going about plotting for my demise?
Okay.
This was a favorite of mine, and I think of ours personally, was the fire dancers that we saw year before last. Really loved this so much. Like, really, really just adored this troupe of stunt performers that would come through, seemingly in a very uncoordinated way, and we're just doing like a whole bunch of fire stunts. So flame twirling and fire eating. Let's take a look at these clips, and then we'll discuss, Deanna.
Is it playing?
It is. Oh, I love that. I
love
wanted to
it
go back to it.
too. I
I don't
forgot
think they
too.
had. Yeah, right. It looks amazing. I think at the very end of that night was the craziest. They started doing that, but with a firework, and it was like with a rocket that was blasting out a lot. Do you remember that? And both of our cameras ran out of battery right as this was happening.
We
So
were
it was
just
really a memory.
screaming.
It was only a memory for us, and yet for some reason I just like, it was so dangerous, like things exploding all around your head and really feeling as though you were enveloped by fire. And yet I knew that we would be totally fine there. For some reason I was just like, yeah, I trust that no harm will come to us here.
I mean, speaking of that, you were such a real one while we were there, because anytime there was danger of a 2 liter of Fago flying at me or a firework going straight to my dome, you would like force tuck and roll me out of the way. Which I appreciated as somebody who's just like, la la la.
I mean, yeah, I have to keep you safe if we're going
Thank you.
if we're going to be going to this. Yeah, exactly. I would like for you to continue to come with me every year that I go back
It's
to the
really for
gathering.
you.
Yeah, it's most definitely in my interest, because if you get hurt, you're not going to come back, and then where am I?
Exactly.
I have to think about me, Deanna. No, naturally, it's like there is danger that exists at the gathering. And I think Deanna is particularly big on this, about not, sort of sugarcoating the idea that that it's not some place where you couldn't get hurt. And it most definitely is, mostly because of the fireworks, and them going off and exploding everywhere.
But then
But
there are also really beautiful moments like that with the just incredibly talented people.
yes, yeah, for sure. And like people that I would really consider to be like artists and true performers that are doing
Mhm.
things that look unbelievably dangerous, but you're like, oh yeah, this all does have like a history, and like carnivals and clowns and things like that. And these are people that really genuinely like are very, very like capable artisans and capable technicians.
Yeah, the art tents too. There was some beautiful work.
Oh yeah, most
And
definitely.
I don't think I've even sent you the footage, but we have somewhere I was talking to one of the guys, and like everything in there was, it was like the glow in the dark stuff, which I feel like can come off as like Spencer's-y vibe, but the way that they utilized the glowing aspect of UV paint was so cool. Like it just created like this faint glow, but behind all of the portraits.
For sure, like a backlighting of like that day glow effect. Yeah, I
And
agree.
we met the stuntmen there. Were super nice. Made friends with some of them.
Yes, with the barbed wire trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't end up interviewing any of them on camera, right?
I did.
Oh, did you? You chatted with them on camera?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I've only seen the footage of that.
It's on my GoPro, which
Oh.
it just sent me a notice and was like, stop trying to upload everything. So I just need to give it to you.
Okay. Okay.
It
And
sent
this is why the
cease and
documentary is
desist.
getting finished now, guys. Slowly but surely, one airdrop at a time, we're gonna finish this thing. This clip we've had up for quite a long while. One of my favorites for sure that we filmed of anything at the gathering. This is the free food giveaway with Elkina and the gang. You see a number of these kinds of tents that happen at the gathering where people are just giving away free food to anybody that needs it, cooking up whatever that is that they have in their cooler, and offering it to anybody that comes by that needs a free meal. Let's take a look at this now.
Giving food free. We're from New York. We have money, so we figure why not give it to our brothers. We've been giving away eggs, hamburgers, hot dogs, at least 200. Yeah, at least.
Thank you guys very much. You guys are awesome.
Why is it important for something like this here?
Give free food.
Yeah.
Give it to our friends, you know. We're all brothers. We're all brothers, man. All sisters and brothers, you know. That's for sure.
Excellent mission. I really appreciate it.
I forgot you included that end part.
Do you know? Should I take that out?
I think it's funny.
I think it's one of my favorite parts of the documentary. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I loved his reaction. It was just, I feel like it encapsulated so much of what we saw there about just freely giving to people and trying to take care of each other. And his reaction to the question, like, why would you give away free food? And he's like, that's the dumbest question. Like, people need to eat. These are my friends. Like, why wouldn't I give them what I can? I just thought it really embodied the entire ethos, I think, of the gathering.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, this just fits in so perfectly here. Like this, or the free Narcan tents, or things that are really just catered around helping people there that need help. And I find the same thing in the Juggalos for Jesus folks, for Joe or Carrie, is the same sentiment of like, hey, if you are in need of anything, or if you are for want of anything, then we are here for you, for sure. For sure.
Who are Joe and Carrie, Dan?
Oh, Joe and Carrie are from Juggalos for Jesus. They are a pair that's out of Bradenton, Florida, in North Florida. And Joe says that he claims to be a former Juggalo. He was a Juggalo previously in his youth when he had a lot of drug and alcohol issues. He got clean and actually became a preacher. And one night, in the middle of the night, had a vision in which God told him that he needed to go and proselytize to the Juggalos. And so he and his wife Carrie, a couple of years ago, started outfitting an RV and going there with an entire crew of people. They sit right outside of the entrance of the gathering, and they provide food and water and spiritual nourishment for anybody that needs it. So they do a great service there at the gathering. They actually sat down with us for an interview a couple of years ago, and we chatted with them for a long bit here. Let me pull one of those up now.
Do we have any clips available with Carrie in it? I feel like we've shown Joe.
I know we've seen a lot of Joe, but
And Carrie is so interesting to me.
Yes,
And
yes,
she's so
we do.
eloquent.
Yes, Deanna, I have exactly that. Yes.
Sorry to put you on
No, yes, Deanna. Yes, yes, Deanna.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Don't you worry, Deanna. I've got it going on. Hold on. Wait, wait, Deanna.
You have
Wait.
5 seconds, Dan.
Deanna, wait. Hold on. Hold on.
Already
Wait.
code
Please.
as H.
Please.
Ch.
I'm begging you, Deanna. Hold on. All
And I
right,
think
here we
you're
are.
the first person that we talked to, too, of the. I gave you the footage of Chance Ana going up to her originally.
Yes, yes, I do. I have that in a later chapter that
Okay.
will be posted sometime in the coming weeks. But it's of Chance and Carrie talking at the Juggalos for Jesus tent. I think it was before we had talked to either Joe or Carrie. Yeah, and just like having
We
to
were
be there
talking,
when.
we were on the side, so as you're going into the gathering, there's a huge parking lot and a ton of cars and everything. And so on the left-hand side, they have different tents, and they have the Juggalo for Jesus tent set up where they're giving away a bunch of things. And Dan and I were hanging out with Chance and maybe Boogie on the side, and we were like, wow, that would be such a good interview. And she's like, well, come on, let's go. And just immediately got up in the mix with them. And it was extremely, I feel like their conversation was really cool because he was very honest about his beliefs without ever being unkind or confrontational, but which is a hard line to cross when it comes to something that's that intense and personal as religion. But he put out his thoughts about it, and Carrie responded in an equally considerate and respectful way. And it's like, wow, this is I don't see that in like the grocery store in Atlanta a lot of times. Like, wow.
We've got a dialogue going.
Mhm.
Let's take a look now. This is the intro for Carrie and Joe of Juggalos for Jesus.
My name's Joe Hamblin. I'm from Bradenton, Florida. We are Jesus Loves Juggalos.
To come and be able to serve people that they need water, they need sunscreen or whatever, and be able to just demonstrate the love of Jesus.
Are you a juggalo?
No, sir.
You're not anymore. Did you used to be?
Yes, sir.
So I married somebody who used to be a juggalo. He was like, you should come with me to the gather of the juggalos. I was like, a gigolo? A what? Like, what is like no concept of the people or the culture or what I was getting myself into.
My name's Joe Hamblin.
Love those two. Carrie especially becomes just like this really great voice throughout the documentary of basically the outsider's perspective on things. Like if you were trying to explain this to your mom, it would probably sound a lot like Carrie's voice. Like she just does a really great job of being like having a very non-judgmental eye of the world there. And she's somebody that has never actually been like on the inside with ICP. She's not a juggalo. She's not a she was never a fan of the music. She had never been to a gathering before. She was very much like of the outside and has only been there as a result of her husband and his ministry services there. Here, let's watch this video of Carrie now.
I don't sound the part. Like, I don't know a single ICP song. I've never drank Faygo. Like, I'm a hot mess. I don't know how this is gonna go down, but I'm here for this, you know? I don't look the part. I don't sound the part. Like, I don't know a single ICP song. I've never drank Faygo. Like, I'm a hot mess. I don't know how this is gonna go down, but I'm here for this, you know?
Just love her. And we see her as we get further on, and you'll see more clips of later chapters, that she really does do an excellent job of kind of describing what it is that attracts people to this world. And I think like talks a lot about the power of people that are kind of like seen as being outsiders when they band together and they join together as family, which she actually has like a very specific read on like juggalos and ICP and their following of juggalos and how it relates to scripture. And she really sees like the story of Jesus in the story of ICP and the juggalos, like sees them both is kindred spirits in the fact that they were both like kind of like ostracized from society and told that what it is that they believed was wrong, but in fact had like a large following behind them that could back them up.
I totally blocked that out, but that's really interesting. I'm like, wow. That's so cool that that's in there.
I mean, I think it was in, it was in a cut at some point. I don't know whether or not it's still in there. It is kind of amazing that when you start to talk to people about faith, that their eyes will glaze over a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's also why Joe was an interesting character, because it seemed like Carrie, what did she say? Like she had never had like a sleepover. Like what was her, she was a bad kid when she was doing
Yeah.
a bad thing. Was
Yeah,
like,
she had like a very, very conventional and happy upbringing. She had two parents that were and are still married. That had, just like her idea of rebellion and being bad in being a teenager was like being out 30 minutes past curfew. And that's very much like the opposite of a lot of people at the gathering, and like the stories of a lot of people at the gathering that maybe did not come from home lives that were so cushy and so nice. So
but
she
not
or
even
her
pushiness. I feel like it's just a completely different perspective. Like she took in her being late home from school from a sleepover or whatever, or going out on the town. She took it in as if that was the worst thing in the world. And I think because of that, her perspective of everything around her and how open and like she was not judgmental in the sort of way that you would imagine other people would be about people doing bad. She just had such an interesting look at everything that was going on around her in a very respectful and, she was like my little philosopher. I loved how she just looked at the world. She really took everything in, and you could tell that she would churn it over in her mind a bunch and be like, well, why would they do that? What was their background? I feel like a lot of people don't do that in their lives to understand, other people's impulses or, where is somebody coming from? That we all have a moving goalpost in terms of what it is to be a good person. And she really reflects on that throughout. And I thought that was really beautiful.
I know you were you loved her interview and her whole thing. Deanna jumped in, she grabbed the helm at about like I was done after like maybe 15 minutes, and she's like, no, I've got questions. And continued on.
We're not letting her go.
Exactly. She's not going anywhere. Let's see here. I think we played this one last week on this stream. Let's take another look at it now. This is Captain Kirk and his friend Diggy, who is a tattoo artist. And Diggy is giving Captain Kirk a tattoo. He had just seen an artist on the Midway. He had the artist sign his arm, and then Diggy was giving him this tattoo and gave us this excellent little bit of creative philosophy that Deanna and I were both very hype on when we first heard it. So let's take a look at this now.
Love you, fam. I love you, bro. Hell yeah. I've been practicing a lot. It's been my favorite thing to do, like, in my spare time when I'm not tattooing, because, like, dropping it is part of the process. And it's like, okay, your mistakes just, like, go away, basically. Like, you're just like, oh, I pick it up.
Love that, Diggy. Huge fan of that. Deanna and I were talking a lot about that same idea of like pretty much all that weekend. We're talking about like doing creative stuff and how it occasionally requires you to like making a mistake is a part of the process and understanding that like you work around said things or you figure out another way and another route entirely that you had never thought of before is just like instrumental in the creative process. So really love that clip from Diggy. Shout out to Diggy, who is always working the needle there at the Gathering of the Juggalos at Legend Valley, Ohio.
It would be great if he would maybe come on at some point.
Oh, I agree.
I would love to hear, because he had a whole setup, and I know that there's some aspects of what we can and can't talk about, but I would love to get his perspective on some things.
Most definitely. I say let's just create the entire gathering right here on this stream.
I would love that.
Can we do so? I've got some fireworks in this house that I can set off right now.
Well, I have this Kirby guy on because I didn't want to deal with my hair today.
I just noticed I was like Kirby guy.
Yeah, that's Kirby. But originally my plan was to wear the hat that I was wearing at the gathering, the bunny hat.
Yes.
And I pulled it out and it is rancid. I had to throw it away. It's so gross.
Was it just covered in Faygo? And had you even touched it in the last like 2 years?
Dan, I had washed it multiple times. It's embedded in the fabric somehow. Like, I don't know what is happening, but it was like the most. I can't even talk about it.
I mean, yeah, pretty much everything that I bring back from there every summer is just covered in a grit and a grime and crust that is not going to go away.
Bags.
I for sure it was the first place that I got COVID was at the gathering.
Really?
Yes. I was supposed to go somewhere else right after that for work. And so I was traveling from Ohio to somewhere in Texas, and it was coming right off of the festival. And I landed, I got in my hotel room and I was like, oh, I feel really bad. And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh yeah, I just popped a positive for COVID. I got the Juggalo. Complete Juggalo.
What it's called.
I was like, oh man, COVID. I was on the road all throughout 2020, traveling nonstop, wore a mask the whole time, never got it. And then I was at the gathering for like 2 days at that point in 2022. 2 days, and it was enough for me to get it.
The Juggalo. Who told you?
The Juggalo. I got formally diagnosed.
That seems like a Kirkism.
No, it was my doctor. He saw it right away. He actually, it was a specialized test. He was like, wait, have you been to the gathering recently? Rainbow Jug, shout out to Rainbow Jug, who is in the chat saying, whoop whoop, love your channel. You're both beautiful juggalos. Thank you so much, Rainbow Jug. Rainbow Jug, thank you very much. I know there's often some question as to whether or not Deanna and I are juggalos. Glad to hear. Yeah, I know, Deanna, right? Can you imagine?
I know, I just took offense.
I know. You looked affronted for a second. You look like you were aghast. I couldn't agree more. That's how I feel too. I'm like, how could someone question our loyalty and what we are? Most definitely
undying
juggalos.
affection.
Yeah.
Jug, are you going to be at the gathering this year?
Here's hoping.
Dan and I are going to have a themed tent. We're going to camp, and the theme is. But explain it, Dan.
Oh well, it's because. It's because the gathering is having its 25th anniversary this year, and the 25th anniversary is the silver anniversary. And for Deanna and myself, it is going to be our 3rd year of going to the gathering together, which is the leather anniversary. So the theme of our camp this year will be silver and leather.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Rainbow Jug says yes indeed. It will be their 5th anniversary of being at the gathering. Mystic, how many times is it for you? Because you were definitely there the first year that I was in 2022.
You saw Mystic the first year?
I did, yes. On them dancing around in the Ouija Max set, like right in front of me. And I was like, oh, whoa, who is that? Silver and leather, whoop whoop, exactly, Mystic. Rainbow Jug would like to take a picture with the two of us, Deanna.
I would love that. That would be so exciting.
Naturally. Come on down, you can find
I
us.
realize you guys can see that. What was Mystic? What made you remember Mystic?
Oh, I mean, like just such a distinct character in the. I mean, how could you miss them? Like yeah. So I think was in. I can't remember exactly the garb. Something that was like a cheetah. Mystic. Maybe you remember from Friday night and on 2022 what your cosplay was at that point. But it was something like that, and saw them dancing in front of me by like maybe 10 feet, and I was like, oh yeah, I for sure will remember them.
You can't forget Mystic.
How
We were
could
talking
you?
the other day. I don't know if it was on a live. No, that this is during our meeting, our documentary meeting. But we were talking about just interesting people that we met while we were there, and we were game planning having a guest on with us, and how excited we would be for that. And part of it too, we were thinking about Tara Diddles,
Tara Diddle.
who would be also an interest. She's not a huge part of the documentary. We never had a full sit down conversation with her. But from the first gathering to the second one, she was pregnant at the second one, and then I would imagine has had the baby since then. So it would be interesting to talk to her, but she completely on a different side quest that we were on. I think I was just taking video of her because I thought she was pretty. And I was like, hey, pretty lady, like, let's talk about your outfit. And they were talking about how they also had given away, I think hot dogs as well, or like just free food to people, and we're taking care of people in general and how important that was to them. I think that was the first year that I went, 2020.
They helped Mystic actually. It was when Mystic passed out in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. And
see.
Mystic comes in like out of seemingly nowhere, at least in my mind when it happened, and it was like, this is the girl who like helped save my life.
Yes. I have a
Amazing.
clip of that here. Hold
Do you
on,
have that
Deanna.
on the video?
Hold on, Deanna. Hold on. You need to
Always
cool your
worrying a
jets.
bit.
You need to cool your jets, Deanna. You just gotta calm down. You get very, very hype over there.
They call me Chompers for a reason, Dan.
No, they call you Chompers because you bit that guy. But here, the clip in question is in this clip here with Captain Kirk talking about the kind of person that is led to the gathering. Here we see Tara Diddle and Mystic both reunited at the gathering in this clip. Let's take a look.
Or wanting the friends. They grew up wanting the attention, or wanting the friends, wanting the family, and they don't get that. The people that don't get that, they're the ones that when they come here, they realize they're being saved. They're realizing they got love. They're realizing this is where I was supposed to be.
Everybody's just happy right now. It's like, you don't have a home, this is your home. If you don't have a family, come here, we'll be your family.
Heck yeah. Tara Diddle and Mystic reunited there after she and her husband helped out Mystic in the parking lot. You can see them do a big hug and embrace there. I do actually have the longer clip. I can have that exported and ready for a future week. Deanna loves to spring that on me of like, oh, do you have this amazing clip that's from this conversation that we're talking about it right now? And it's like, you know what, Deanna?
You always do, though.
I don't. I'm not prepared for that. No.
I mean, you had that
Rainbow Jug asking, are you releasing the full-length documentary? Rainbow Jug, to answer your question, yes, indeed, we will be releasing the full-length documentary. Our documentary is currently about an hour long, and it's split into 5 chapters. We have been going through and releasing clips of the longer doc onto our shorts, which you've been seeing now. Our plan is to release a chapter once every other week leading up to the gathering. So we should have the full documentary up and online and ready to watch about a month before we all take off to go to the gathering again this summer, is the rough plan that we have right now. And Manju, Deanna, and I just love a rough plan. Right? The general outline and vague idea of a plan.
It's the best.
Yeah.
But we are doing chapter by chapter right now, and then it will be all one big boy. We did do a screening last time we were at the gathering for our friends at the camp that we're at. And we were both very nervous when it was first going to be shown to them, because it was really important that nobody felt like they were being taken advantage of, or that we were showing anything that there are moments in it, in the documentary, that are not pleasant, or not it's not all roses and daisies and flowers and stuff, but we didn't want it to seem more like a spectacle than just treating people like what they are, as just people. And it was received well, thankfully. So I feel comfortable putting it out there, and I'm really looking forward to, how other people feel about it as well. I'm interested too, like, not even just for our friends at the gathering, but just for a larger audience of people who maybe don't know anything about ICP or the gathering or what to expect, or they've only seen the cuckoo-ness, which there is a lot of cuckoo to witness there. But I feel like there's just so much more, and it's not even that there's so much more. I feel like the base of what it is just more than all the hijinks and everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there have been a lot of documentaries that have taken on The Gathering, and a lot of them seem to focus on more of the hijink end of things, which, though I love hijinks and I'm a huge fan of them, and it is a big part of what draws me back into The Gathering. At the end of the day, I think that it's the people that are there, and like the ability to have a very deep connection with somebody extremely quickly, that I like about The Gathering. And like, it keeps bringing me back there again. And I think that the piece that we made is reflective of that. And it did get received well by the camp that we made it with. Bloody and Boogie and Chance and Kirk are all folks that, are interviewed in featured throughout the entire doc. And it was important for us, like Deanna was saying, to make sure that they were happy with it. Before it started, before it rolled, we had everything set up, and I was like, well, I hope you guys really enjoy this. And Bloody was like, yeah, we better. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, because otherwise we're gonna beat you up. And I was like, well, you absolutely could beat me up, Bloody, without a doubt. Like, she could pummel me if she wanted to and destroy me.
Dan was legitimately concerned.
Legitimately concerned. Rainbow Jug is wondering what you're working on here, Deanna.
So for the documentary, one of our ideas for introducing each chapter would be, we're going to film having the ICP cards in some fashion for each chapter, and I am working on that currently. I'm working on a block print, so you start with this rubber kind of little doodad, and then this is some transfer paper, and I'm just going over it right now so that I can get this transferred relief image. Then I'm going to be carving it using this tool right here. And then we will be printing it onto some cards, just pieces of paper.
Very nice. Very
It's
nice. Little block printing.
It's an involved process, but from that one thing, you can make an infinite amount of prints. So it's pretty cool. And different colors and whatever you want.
Will we be making an infinite amount of prints?
I am infinite, Dan, yes.
Okay, good. I was wondering. Crazy Steve saying 25th gathering gonna hit different. Absolutely agree. I got Riddlebox tatted on my back when I was 18. I'm 42 today and still forever down with the clown.
Aww.
Crazy Steve, glad to have you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. We actually have another little piece here. Let's go to Chance's first tattoo. It turns out that a lot of people, their first tattoo has to do with juggalos.
Dan, are you good manning the helm for a moment? I'm going to take the puppies out. They're getting restless and agitated.
Take them dogs out, Deanna.
Okay.
Take them dogs out. I've got it
right
from
back.
here. Whoop, whoop, Crazy Steve. Hey, while Deanna's taking a look at that, let's take a look at some clips. So, Crazy Steve, you had mentioned having a tattoo for the riddle box on your back. Let's take a look at Chance with this story about his first tattoo now. Oh, wait. That's something else I'm playing entirely. Hold on a second. See, I can't even blame Deanna because she had to walk away. It's a shame because I love to blame Deanna. All right, here we are. So this right here is Kirk and Chance talking about their experiences, and Chance giving a little background on his first ever tattoo, which is a hatchet man.
To be a juggalo.
Little tiny juggalo. And this has been there since I was probably 10, 11 maybe. It's my first tattoo. I swear to God, it was huge on my arm when I got it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you know, the coolest kid in middle school.
It's a blessing to be a juggalo.
Little tiny.
I love that. Didn't know this channel went live. Whoop, whoop. Loving the clips. Thank you so much, Triznik Pogo Clown. Triznik Pogo Clown. Yes, we have been going live. Deanna and myself have been going live for the last couple of weeks, actually. There you can see there's no Deanna. She's going to go out and walk her dogs. But yes, we've been going live. We've really been enjoying it to a tremendous degree, honestly. We love having juggalos come in and find this work. It's been a lot of fun. We have been producing a documentary for the last couple of years called Juggalo Family Values. We started producing it in 2022. The bulk of what we shot is from 2023, and we've been releasing it since the beginning of this year on YouTube Shorts. So the documentary is broken up into 5 chapters, and we are releasing them one clip at a time for the next several months leading up until the gathering this year. And we're going to have a plan to release the entire documentary sometime in the midsummer is the plan. Oh no, did we break some rules? No, it says we're still streaming. Sorry about that, guys. Ooh, Trizzy says he wants to do an interview. Much love. Well, Trizzy, hold on one second. Love that. We always love an interview here. This is why we have our contact information. Deanna, news above all news. We've got lower thirds. Look, you can't even see this. But yes, we do have an email, Deanna. I know that you're so excited about the email. juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. If you've got ideas for the show, if you want to be on the show, if you'd like to be a guest, email us at juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. We would love to get back to you and figure out a time to have you on the show. And just to recap for anybody that's new into the audience or into the chat, we are having Mystic on next week. That's right. Our good friend Mystic will be joining us here in the studio to chat through clips from the documentary, talk about their life, talk about their cosplay. Yeah, don't keep Deanna out of it. Well, who could take you, Deanna? Oh, Trizzy says he would like to be on with his wife. Another round of the newlywed game? Yeah, so we need multiple newlywed teams, don't we? Yeah. So it sounds like we have Kirk and Bubbles, hopefully. Now we might have Trizzy and his wife. We need one more couple. You and I? I don't know anything about you. One. You're essentially a stranger to me. Yeah, exactly. I don't know you. Let's see. Bloody and Boogie could indeed be on. I don't know. We need to let's put out the call. This is us formally putting out the call. We need Juggalo couples in order to participate in a newlywed game that we will be airing at some date indeterminate in the future, but at some point in the not too distant future, we will be playing the newlywed game. Oh, thank you, Trizzy. I'm so sorry. Oh, I had you muted, Deanna. No one could hear your brilliance. Trizzy, we've been chatting about we'd like to play the newlywed game. Kirk and his wife were on board. If you would be interested, let us know.
But not only for that, that's a side quest.
Yes.
Like, I would also like to just interview as well and talk.
And just chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a little chit chat. We love to chat.
But I also like people competing and feeling stressed out for no reason.
and pitting people against one another and just being generally conniving, Deanna. Yeah, that sounds very accurate. Yeah, I love to stress people out and make them fiend and foes of one another. And just one more time, since I love putting up the Chiron, here's our email address. If you have anybody that would be interested in being in the Juggalo Newlywed game, if you'd like to be on the show, if you have an idea for the show, reach out to us here at juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. And hey, just for good measure, just to remind you, we are Juggalo Family Values, a documentary that is airing on YouTube. We've been releasing clips every evening at 7:12 p.m. on the YouTube channel and have a plan to release the entire documentary before the summer is out. We will be rolling in hot to this year's gathering with a fully finished narrative-length documentary under our belt. Deanna, doesn't that sound lovely?
I love that. I was just thinking it would be fun. Okay, this is completely, we haven't talked about this, but we were talking about doing maybe like giving food to people.
Yeah.
Doing the food thing. It would be fun to have a Juggalo family cookbook.
Ooh.
Right?
Yes, I like that a lot.
Like the everybody's home recipes, a little bit about like who made it, what they experienced as they ate it. Wouldn't that be cute?
Deanna, I like where your head is at.
I'll make a note.
Make a note. Put it in the Notion. Fritzy says y'all could do Juggalo stories and have MFers talk about how they found the Dark Carnival. Yeah, honestly, Trizzy, that's a lot of our documentary is focused around that and how people indeed came to find the gathering. Here, Deanna, let's play another clip real quick. I love this clip so much. This is Coda, who we chatted with very briefly on Saturday of 2023. I talked to him for a very brief amount of time, but he left a huge impression. This is actually the closing clip for chapter 1 of the documentary. Let's take a look now.
I've literally never been this happy. Like my entire life, I've been sad. And I have such bad social anxiety, agoraphobia. But I come to the gathering and literally I can talk to every single person I see because they're all fucking shiny just like me. And it's the most precious shit. Like, that void that's never be able to be filled with this community is the only thing that I actually felt true genuine love. My parents never showed me that. This Juggalo community means more than anything for me. That's what this wicked shit's about. Juggalo for life. I've literally
Gosh, I love that. Oh, love Coda so much. But Trizzy, just to give you an idea, in case you haven't been watching, so we produced a documentary at the Gathering of the Juggalos. We've been filming there since about 2022, and we've been releasing clips of the documentary on this YouTube channel for the last several months. So we are releasing it under Juggalo Family Values. You can find that on YouTube. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button so we can get ourselves more and more Juggalos into the mix and watching this. We've had a big reaction from it that's been really exciting so far. And again, just because I love putting up some chyrons, here we go. Juggalo Family Values. Come check us out on YouTube. Posting clips every night at 7:12 p.m. And unfortunate news, Deanna.
I know. My phone died, but I'm going to get it back up.
Oh, I meant something else. It's that Crazy Steve said that his homie already put out a Juggalo cookbook.
There can be multiple. I'll make it.
All right.
And I would also like how to get that cookbook.
Yeah, like how do we get our hands on that cookbook?
Henry is being really weird with Seamus. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I just want to make sure that they're being nice to each other. I don't know if you guys can see, but here's the puppies.
Them dogs. Show me them dogs. Yes.
So they're like, they're being nice, but they're kind of, it's just weird vibes suddenly. Just want to make sure that they're okay. Seamus, that's...
Oh, Luigi Robot. He's an old school Juggalo here. Old school Juggalo in the TikTok chat.
Hello.
Wicked Kitchen is the Juggalo cookbook.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Now we
Wicked
can't do
Kitchen.
it because it's too good of a name. There's no
It's on Amazon already.
I love it.
Keep the noggin going, Deanna. We got to come up with a new hustle.
I mean, I still want to do it too, though.
Okay. I like Mystic's idea of doing a cooking show where we can have Juggalos come on and cook a dish that they're good at making.
A cooking show would be so fun.
And we can do a little interview cooking show. Mystic, I've seen you do some cooking on Instagram before. Can you tell me what would be the dish that you would make if we were to do this? Because I see you doing some frankly wild stuff that you're finding on TikTok there.
Be nice.
Frankly wild.
Do you hear that?
Fortunately, we've lost. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Did I fix it?
I think you fixed it.
Nice.
Wicked Clown Lasagna. Ooh, or Trizzy suggested cooking Fago dogs.
Cooking what?
Fago hot dogs. Your face of comprehension was amazing. Trizzy, do email us at juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. That's juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. Would love to have you on the show at some point in the next few weeks for sure. He was just saying he didn't know our channel went live, Deanna. He didn't know that we were out in these streets.
We are in the streets.
We are most definitely up in these streets right now, I would say.
Make sure they're okay. I'm sorry.
Ooh, shoot, Deanna, and even bigger news. Black Malenko came over from TikTok to subscribe to the channel. We have a TikTok conversion, Deanna. This is why I need the air horn.
You should get like one of those squeaky chickens.
A couple of squeaky chickens.
Yeah, for when that happens.
I would love to. Mystic saying he could make his. They would make their beignets or red velvet cheesecake brownies. Black Malenko saying you're both so cute. Whoop 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 whoop. Thank you so much for coming over and joining. Very exciting. Love.
We can have a chicken for just people coming over, and then another chicken for anybody who's spectacularly nice to us.
Like that.
Exactly.
I like all that. Don't you agree that we are both so cute? Don't you? Why are you laughing? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Kirk, you're right. We had planned on doing a chili cook-off this year.
When? What?
At the gathering.
Was I part of that conversation?
You are now.
I mean,
You look disturbed. What's the problem? What is the matter? It seems
of-
like we've unlocked something in you that I'm worried about.
I have entered chili cook-off competitions before, and I take it extremely seriously. So
So this is your competitive face that we just kicked into here, where you're like, wait, hold on. If there's going to be a chili cook-off, it's like, yeah, I could see that you could all of a sudden taste blood in your mouth. It got very, very serious for a second.
Dangerous.
Kirk says he's got 3 to 4 people ready to jump into the chili cook-off. Deanna, it sounds like it's about time for you to break out your famous recipe. Kirk, I'm 100% on board with the chili cook-off. Black Malenko says this year is their first gathering of the Juggalos. My goodness, man. Do you remember your first time, Deanna?
Of what?
Of going to the gathering.
Yeah, I remember. It was fun. I remember walking in and leading up to going. Everybody had been like, are you going to be okay? Are you like just concerned for my well-being? And I never really thought about it until the moment that we were walking in. You go down this big path and a dinosaur was in the field, which you did not mentally prepare me for at all. I don't know how you failed to mention that they just have like
I swear I did mention that.
No.
I swear at some point it got mentioned that there was a huge dinosaur that was there.
Okay, well, if you mentioned it, I did not fully absorb that fact and how big the dinosaurs would be. They're huge dinosaurs in a field and tents laid out. And I had only gone to festivals where like the entire layout of the festival is something pretty different, where they have how many stages?
2 there. Oh no, 3 if you count the tent.
The pirate tent?
No, the pirate ship is unofficial.
Okay. Well, it's like laid out where everybody is kind of camped-ish, where you also go to see the festival. So it was hard to get heads or tails of where are we going to be and where do we go and everything. And it's not, I don't think they have like a map.
No. no map.
You just walk in and there's immediately so much happening, and a lot of megaphones, a lot of explosions, a lot of yelling, and that was the first and only moment that I was like, if I made a mistake, should I have been more concerned before going here? And then pretty much immediately everybody was just like super nice and chill, and I felt more, for all the other festivals that I've gone to in my life, I felt completely at ease the entire time.
I really love this clip. This is a move-in day clip from the gathering back in 2023 when we filmed there. Let's take a look now.
Drove from Northern California, 38 hours of non-stop driving.
My name's Coda. I'm from Danbury, Connecticut.
Nice to meet you. I'm Silent. I'm from Seattle. This is my first time.
This is my first time on stage. Have you been? Your first. 1, 2, 3.
What is your name?
My name is Hatchet the Fat Shit.
Love that so much. Move-in day at the gathering. I agree. I never mentioned the fact that there was like a giant dinosaur that was in the mix.
No.
I could have swore that I said something about that.
I feel like I would have.
That's something you would have absorbed.
I would have had a lot of follow-up questions.
Trizzy says they'll just stick to Fago and a slice of pickle pizza, homie. I'll tell you, of anything that really threw me for a loop at the gathering of the Juggalos, it was learning that in Ohio they put pickles on pizza.
This is news to me.
Yes,
Do they cook it on there?
100%. Yeah, it's like a topping. And I like went to a restaurant in town there in Newark, and I was like, what's with the pickle pizza? It was like the second time that I'd seen it, and I was like, what's the deal with this? I was like, is that an Ohio thing or a Midwest thing? And they're like, no, that's an East Coast thing for sure. And I was like, it's definitely not. I promise you, this is the first time I've ever seen pickles on pizza. It is delicious, honestly. Like, it's a nice bit. It's like if you like olives on pizza, why wouldn't you like pickles? Deanna. As Kirk says in the chat, pickled pizza's the shed. I'm sorry, pickled pizza is the bomb.
Daniel.
Oops.
We should have gotten some.
I swear that we did.
We did not. You don't tell me about dinosaurs. We don't get pickled pizza.
I swear I gave you like a better upfront warning about stuff than all this. I don't believe her. Don't believe her.
They probably shouldn't.
No, don't believe her. I probably got one more clip we can play on TikTok, and then we would need to skedaddle off of there for anything else that we're gonna watch.
Okay. What is the clip?
This week, Kirk talking about his recovery process, his recovery journey, and how ICP and the Juggalos were so very helpful in that. This is one of the most popular clips that we have ever posted on the YouTube channel. And for good reason, Deanna. Should we take a look now?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
How did ICP save your life? You mentioned that.
I was a dope head. I was addicted to heroin, shooting $300-400 a day in my veins. I ended up overdosing the last time I used 2 shots of Narcan, 3 minutes away from death, about to shoot me with a third one. Going through getting clean, I was told, you gotta stop being a juggalo, you gotta put that shit aside, it's not gonna be good for your recovery. The Dark Carnival, the people I loved, those are the people that reached out, made sure I was okay. Their music kept me away from it. This is my life, something I truly believe in.
How did ICP save your life? You mentioned that.
Heck yeah, Captain Kirk. Absolutely love that one. Love the recovery process and the recovery journey, always here to celebrate those kind of things and to see those kind of things, and especially to see how the strength of someone's community around them really is what saves someone's life.
Yeah, it was impressive as we went around. I think that was part of when we had our meeting on Tuesday or Wednesday. We were talking about just general interest and what we were drawn to while we were there. And I think both of us, as soon as we saw anything that was in that realm, we would gravitate to it. Where I remember there was one guy who had a table set up and it was a bunch of keychains or like magnets and stuff. But you could see in a box behind him, it was just an entire thing full of the Narcan. We're like, the keychains are cool, but like, what's going on here? And he just explained that him and his buddies. Do you remember what it was called?
Yeah, it's Narcan.
No, they had a name for their group. Like they had created their own.
Not that one. I don't remember off the top of my head. The other one is gosh, oh sorry,
We'll
I'm
remember
blanking on
at
it right
some
now.
point. I know while we were talking to him in the video that we have, he does say the name, so we can put that somewhere when we get that information. But he said that was just like his little side quest while he was at the festival, was making sure everybody could be as safe as possible. They had free Narcan tents set up. It was all just volunteer or like a grassroots situation the entire time, which I love.
Yeah, for sure. You see so much harm prevention there. And also, like in chatting with somebody there from one of the organizations, they said that they've tried to have like safe space in other organizations that work specifically with festivals in order to drive down the amount of drug overdoses that they have there, or various other issues of when there are like party narcotics involved. They told me that like safe space and things like that, they really don't want to go to the gathering. Like they don't take it seriously, that the fact that the gathering might also have those same risks that other festivals do. And so what you find there is that a lot of people that are handing out Narcan or handing out fentanyl testing strips are doing so just because they have a love of the community. There's not a third party that's doing that. It's very much organically happens there at the festival, where people that are fans, that are concert goers there, are just there to look out for one another. And it's something that you see a lot over and over again. And it's something that's like been very important to me in the past for sure, which is harm prevention.
For sure. I also feel like a lot of other festivals or even community groups will, be about peace and love and kindness and support. But I really just always saw it in action at the gathering, where people, not necessarily peace and love all the time, but like the idea of just keeping everybody safe and community and taking care of each other, and the lengths that people went to be able to provide for others, whether that be, harm prevention or hot dogs. It was really beautiful.
Very well said.
Is that our cookbook, harm prevention or hot dogs?
Exactly. Well, I was about to say that the chat is blowing up with all sorts of food talks between corn dogs, pickled pizza, Mystic saying he's bringing coconut water and fruit next time. I agree. Prime snacks. That's one of the reasons why I want to go camping this year, is so that Deanna can be in charge of the snacks. She's very good at the snacks.
I do love a snack moment.
You are very good at a snack moment.
I remember when we went to when we were at the grocery store and we were like, we should get some snacks. And the first year we were terrible at feeding ourselves, and we we're like, we have to get better at this. And the second year we like got goldfish or something. We got like a couple things, and we just lingered over some apples for like a very long amount of time. Like, should we introduce fruit into our diet?
You and I are not good we're very good at traveling with one another and taking this kind of stuff on largely, but we are not, we have the same, the same lack of a self-preservation thing, where it's like we just went 12 hours or 14 hours without eating anything, or we haven't drank any water today. Or, I mean, like truly like bad, I think, for our individual health when you and I hang out.
Well, we just get so excited by all, as you're going through the festival. I feel like we kept having moments where we'd be like, okay, we have to like go charge something. We have to go get water. We need to remember that we are humans. And then we would run into another person who'd be like, hey, do you guys want to go see this like sword fight? And I was like, yes, I want to see a sword fight. I don't don't need water that bad.
Exactly. If you're going full tilt boogie for like 4 or 5 days, like, hey, well, we can always stop at Taco Bell on the way out of here.
Yeah.
Trizzy says, y'all need to talk to my homie Josh. He walked to the gathering by foot, and then people give him a bus pass ride back home.
How far?
Yeah, do you know how far he walked, Trizzy?
I saw somebody, it was like a meme thing, and they're like, anything is walkable if you lock in.
Well, you're big on walking, aren't you?
I love walking.
Yeah,
we had
me too.
a bonding time over our love of walking.
I know, yeah, a love of hoofing it.
I mean, I don't hoof anything.
No, you hoof.
Dan, I daintily step.
No, you hoof for sure. You
do
hoof
huff.
and shuffle.
I do.
You hoof and shuffle.
That's true.
Trizzy's homies from Indiana and walked to Legend Valley. Wow. That's not close. That's really far.
Can we just follow him next year?
Does he make a habit of walking every year, or you just had to do it the one time? I was in 2023. That was your first year there, Deanna.
Aww.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah. Trizzy gave him a ride this year. Okay, good. Well, Trizzy, do hit us up over that email address, please.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, please. Here, let me throw it up on screen. What's that?
I didn't know you set up an email address. It feels so official.
This takes you by surprise every week, Deanna. I say it every week that we have an email address. You know, it's like, we have an email address. It's every time. It's like a completely new surprise. Like, oh, we have an email. You're always so excited about it. Like, oh, we've got an email address. It's every time.
50 first states of email.
Exactly. It's shock and jubilation every time. We have an email address. Yes, indeed, Deanna, we do have an email address.
Real.
JuggaloFamilyValues@gmail.com. JuggaloFamilyValues@gmail.com. Go ahead and drop us a line. If you'd like to be on the show, we can chat about sometime in the future. And hey, just so that we can remind you, coming next week, right to your screen, live from here in the studio, it's going to be Mystic.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
You had to outdo me, Dan.
Yeah, every day.
On the whooping.
Yeah, every day. I am only here to stunt on you. That's it. That's
You do an
it.
excellent job.
Oh, I know. I really kick a lot of butt at it.
You know, where did whoop whoop come from?
I don't know, actually. I don't know the origin of whoop whoop. Chat, anybody in the chat know the origin of whoop whoop? That actually never got to be a trivia question or anything. I just took it for granted that it was happening. Next week, same time. Oh, Black Malenko, you want to be in the mix as well? Here, let me throw that email address up one more time. Great news, Deanna. Deanna?
I love this so much, yes.
We have an email address.
Email base?
It's juggalofamilyvalues@gmail.com. Go ahead and drop us a line. We would love to get chatting with you and schedule this. Just so you know, our rough plan is we're going to try and do 2 streams a week. So yeah, we'll aim to do one on Friday and one more in the midweek. The midweek one next week, we're going to have a little bit more structure. We're going to have a longer amount of time. Although, damn it, if we're not coming up on 2 hours here, Deanna.
Really?
Yes, Deanna, we can't be stopped.
This is why we don't eat.
Yeah, I know. But this is also like, oh, we actually could do this all day if we wanted to.
I literally, you saying that kind of put fear into me that we're going to go.
Like that we just go full on this lifestyle and we're streaming nonstop all the
put
time.
fear in me that you're trying to leave me. Are you trying to leave me right now?
Right now?
Right now?
It put fear in you?
Yeah. Well,
You
you
look
saying 2
forlorn in the
hours.
face.
It sounded.
I was thinking that we were gonna roll off of here. Why are you looking so sad? Why
I'm
do you look
having
so
such a nice
sad?
time, Dan, and I'm really
I know.
bummed.
I really enjoy this too, Deanna. I'm not even blowing smoke right now, Deanna. Honestly, I really enjoy doing this with you. I like this little community that we've built. I like getting all of these people up in the chat and getting them super excited and telling them how much they really enjoy our work and our dynamic together. Deanna, I'm over the moon. You should know that.
I know that. Come on.
I know. I don't understand where all the sadness is. You know we're coming back here. You know we
We're
get to
gonna
do this
leave eventually.
again.
I'm bad at ending things that I really like. That's why I stay in bad relationships.
It's because the thought of not doing it. So it's just an abusive relationship to you now.
Exactly.
More so than it already has been for the last several years.
It's okay, Dan.
Crazy Steve says he didn't hear a whoop whoop until like 2000 or 1999. It wasn't always a thing. It's the chant cry that outlasted all the other chants.
What?
A chant.
What is the chant?
Whoop whoop.
Oh, okay.
I guess there were several, several were loosely auditioned, and whoop whoop is the one that stuck. You see you throw it on the wall and see what sticks.
That one sure stuck. I would like to know if it was like a coalition of juggalos who initiated the whoop, or was
Well,
it
here's Crazy Steve giving us some more background. The song Super Balls says whoop whoop. It's part of the chorus. So whoop whoop just became a thing as opposed to other chants like magic, magic, ninjas, what?
Thank you.
That one doesn't quite
Yeah,
have the
that was
same
a
ring
lot
to it.
harder.
Yeah, I
Much more
agree that
involved.
whoop whoop was the one to stick with. Whoop whoop was the one to go with. Okay, thank you. So it's from the chorus of Super Balls. Thank you, Crazy Steve.
I'm going to go back and listen to it now, and I'm going to clock how they pronounce the P in whoop.
It's not a hard P. It's like a whoop whoop.
You said I wasn't doing enough P.
You're not doing enough P, but you're also doing way too much P.
Do you see how those notes are confusing?
Both things can exist. Let's go to the art cam. Oh my gosh, Deanna.
It's getting all carved out. And then once we finish these, so you take a brayer roller and put some paint onto a palette, roll it out just like you would if you were to paint a room in your house. Roll it on there, and then you press this side down on some paper. You got yourself a stew going.
Hey, it's looking like a stew, baby.
And then once we create those, we are going to film some. What are we going to film, Dan?
We are going to film some title cards for our chapters. So we had an idea that we would basically play with the Joker card motif, print that onto some playing cards, and then use those as title cards in our chapters. So we're going to create like a little scene on the ground with some crushed Fago bottles, with some used glow sticks, with some Hatchet Man beads and our general regalia. And then we're going to be throwing down the cards on the ground, each one hitting it saying, Chapter 1, what is a Juggalo? Chapter 2, music and creativity. Chapter 3, family and home life. Chapter 4, Deanna.
I don't know what the chapters are, Dan.
I forgot what it was called too. I'm sorry. I was on such a run, and the rhythm was so good that I didn't want to end on it.
You're doing great. I'm sorry.
I really was. I could feel it cooking, and it just died on me.
That's okay.
It happens. It happens.
I kind of like You know, in Atlanta, where they would have those intro pieces that were their own little scenes. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The TV show?
Oh, yes, the Atlanta, the TV show. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about with the scenes too, where they would
Yeah.
have these like little built out scenes. I feel like that would be fun with these, where like not each one of the title cards be filmed with that specific grouping, but if it could tell a story as
I agree.
it progresses.
Like slightly different background. I was thinking that it would probably start like pretty clean and then just get dirtier and dirtier as we went deeper into the chapters. So the fifth one would have like the most amount of Fago bottles, the most amount of glow sticks, and we would have just slowly built up to that point.
But even like people, like if it just started out and somebody's like setting up, say, we don't have to do this, but say, for example, if it was like somebody setting up for a house party, so it would be the initial setup and like they like drop some stuff on the floor as they're getting set up and they pick up that Juggalo card and then, or ICP card. And then the next one would be like, you know, they open the chips or whatever, like kind of telling a narrative story as well. That for once was not me. I would like the record to reflect that I didn't knock it over. It was a husky.
It seemed like you knocked it over. According to Trizzy, hot take, some juggalos be over whooping.
In what way? What is there a new whoop, or was the
No,
whoop,
I think just like over inundating with whoops.
they're just
Too many whoops. Just slightly too many loops. Black Malenko saying, I found ICP through TikTok in 2021, so I'm new. Always very interested in this. The young fans that are coming through, the people that have just only gotten into ICP. ICP, as we know, has been around for like a very long time. Oh, well over 30 years, possibly going on to 40. So yeah, always interesting that they are continuing to finding new people and new fans there. Here, actually, I have this great clip of somebody that was a relatively new ICP fan when we met them. One of my favorite characters. Hold on, Deanna. Hold on,
I
Deanna.
would love to see what the particular TikTok was too that got you intrigued by it. Like, what was the
Yeah, same. Like, what was the one that sold you? Here,
Because
let's watch this clip of My Boy Blue.
Okay.
My boy Fred though.
Hi Fred.
He's gonna stay with me. Oh, he does light up, but at night. But I forgot the damn charger. My Juggalo name is dead, but my real name is Quan, and I'm from Georgia. Deep South is like Nichols, Georgia. We only got one red light, bro. I never heard of ICP or Juggalo until this year. Positivity that they have and the friendship, you know. Not Juggalos don't really be up into no negative shit, if you ask me anyways. It's my boy Fred though.
Oh, love Blue so much. My Boy Blue. Ah, yeah. Kirk, our boy Blue, Kirk. Black Malenko is 20, turned 21 in July. Yeah, so Blue absolutely loved him. He was a rock star throughout. We actually ended up meeting back up with him again several days later. He was fully Juggalo face painted out, had busted his head up in the mosh pit the night before, had himself a heck of a time. Deanna, Black Malenko is asking if you ever paint your face.
I did not the first year. I mean, in general, yeah, I paint it all the time, but gathering specific, I didn't do it the first year because I didn't want to steal Juggalo valor, and you know, I was just interested in talking to people, so I didn't want to feel like I'm coming in a little too hot at people. And then the second year, it's like, wow, this actually is something that I do all the like on a Thursday night, just hanging out. That's actually how Alyssa and I became friends, was when we were roommates, because she was just my other roommate's Someone's at my door. Dan, you can take this away for a second. Let me make sure I'm not gonna die.
I got you. I got you. Apparently, Deanna's being attacked by rabid dogs. It's fine. Don't let's not worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. Deanna has painted her face before. Actually, I have a really good clip of this, which was when we were chatting with somebody in the town there. It was really important to us that we wanted to talk with somebody that was local to the town there in Ohio where the festival takes place. And so we sort of tracked down this lady in the store last year, and she's quickly becoming one of my favorite and most popular interviews that we did. This was just a lady that we both saw. We chatted with her for a couple of minutes. And as she was walking away, Deanna and I turned and we looked at each other and we said, wow, that lady was incredibly hot. And that was it. We were both like, that was a really good looking older lady. Here she is. We've just been referring to her as the hot grocery store lady. But I think that she spoke very, very well about kind of the local perspective on how it is that people feel about when the Juggalos come to town. Let's take a look.
You sort of ID'd us in the store. How did you recognize that we were at that festival?
I kind of know what the look is.
Were there many people in the community that were like unhappy when the Juggalos started doing
They didn't know enough, you know? The community, some people are like scared. And it's like, these are the most calm, easygoing people you're ever gonna know. Just here to listen to music and have a good time.
How you doing?
Good.
Boop, boop.
And I think most everybody's gotten used to it now, you know? Well, thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Now, what I'm gonna do is go home and have a gummy and drink some
Oh,
coffee.
hell yeah. You sort of ID'd
Damn.
us.
What's up?
Hi.
Hi. We're just talking about the hot grocery store lady.
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
I forgot that I had this on my head when I opened the door.
Black Malenko says Jay and Shaggy said Juggalo Valor isn't real and you can be a Juggalo. So there you go, Deanna. You don't have to be concerned about this kind of a thing.
I agree. When I was initially going with you that first year, but after just a day of being there, people were pretty immediately like, it doesn't matter even if you really like the music, if you're here and you are happy to be here and you're interested in this scene, then you are a juggalo. And it's like, okay, I don't need to be as a like there's so many other scenes that if you are just interested and you just want to get like a little toe dip into that music, it's such a barrier to entry where you're going to be judged based on like your knowledge and like how many albums do you listen to, what's your like. It was the complete opposite there, at least in terms of openness and how inviting the community was.
Completely. I also have found that several times that like considering like I'm with you that some scenes are like very locked out and they're not interested in new people. And the Juggalos have never been like that. It's always very much been like if you're here, and you're about us and are not making fun of us, then you're a juggalo. And I always have really, really, really loved that and really been drawn to that. I've got some wild and zany clips here if you want to see them, Deanna.
I always do.
Yeah, yeah. Let's take a look. Oh.
There's people who have like introduced me to a lot of weird ass shit around here.
Yeah! See, I told you, Wade, it was worth it.
It is so amazing that people are just being themselves. They're just like, hey, well, look at me. We're over here just like showing buttholes. We're over here just moving shit, whatever. They're just like being themselves, and it's like, hey, this is the place to be. So there's.
Well, we're about to find out whether or not I did a good enough job of masking that guy's penis in those clips, but.
Dan, I don't think you could say that word either.
Oh, am I not allowed to? No. Oh, I had to end the TikTok. We did have to end the TikTok stream.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as I can say, as I know, I can say it now.
Why did we have to? Were we in trouble or?
We may have been.
What? What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything.
I was gone for 1 second.
I didn't do anything. I don't know. It popped up. I didn't see.
What did you do?
I swear I didn't do anything outside of what we normally do here.
Okay, I believe you.
I swear. I'm not out here trying to mess with your
No,
your
I'm not saying that. I was just poking fun.
No, you're always poking fun and it's very hurtful.
Good.
Gatekeeping from newbies, all bark, no bite. I wouldn't worry. That's from Trizzy. You can be a juggalo as long as you're a good person. Dan knows we weed the bad ones out. Amen to that, Kirk. We're going to be tackling that in some future episodes. I've got some clips specifically around that we'll go through. But you know what, Deanna, that's for another day. I'm just here to tickle your ass with a feather.
Sorry.
Yeah. You know, it means to just generally get somebody excited, Deanna. I'm not talking literally. It is a saying.
I've never heard that.
Let me tickle your ass with a feather. It's like let me get you a little drummed up on this one. Let me get you excited.
It's really specific.
You knew what it meant. Did you have any question about what it meant?
I don't know that I fully absorbed what it meant. I feel like
yeah. Let me tickle your ass with a feather. Let me get you just a little intrigued. I'll tickle your ass with a feather. And here, let's play this one clip from Mystic. And then I think I've got to go because I believe these gentlemen need to work on my bathroom.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Here, we said we were going to do a short show, Deanna, and look at what happened. It's over 2 hours later you're here, and we're still...
It's just too much fun.
It's too much fun.
I love when people are in the chat and we can talk to... Like, I feel like I'm just looking forward also to talking to more folks about this.
I know, I agree. I love the chat. Yeah, I love the chat. It seems like people are really drawn to what it is that we're doing here, Deanna. I mean, naturally, we have such magnetism. Wouldn't you agree?
Are you tickling my booty with a feather?
No, Deanna. That's here. Let me. This would count as tickling your ass with a feather, Deanna. We're gonna watch a clip of Mystic. This is one of my favorite clips of his talking about women at the gathering and talking about the importance of women at the gathering. Let's take a look.
Just because like we rap about that type of stuff, and just because like there's women out here that are like half naked or all the way naked doesn't mean that they want to do it with you. So yeah, juggalettes are not whores. Remember that. They're queens, just like the outside world women as well.
Cool. That's cool in the paint. I gave you paint. Yeah, you did give me paint.
So fuck you to whoever gonna say that juggalettes are whores. So yeah, just because like
love that clip of Mystic talking about equality, talking about respect. I've personally, and I know that you have said this a couple of times, Deanna, as far as like your experience being a woman there at the gathering of the Juggalos. Um, like I have talked to several who either will go walking around in fishnets or like with pasties on, wearing very little. And I have had women say to me before that it's like, there's not a lot of places in the world where you can comfortably go and do this as a woman, and yet there they feel totally fine and totally comfortable doing so. And I think that there's like there's a lot of that maybe on the face of it you wouldn't necessarily read or expect from this world, but like yeah, like equity in that way is very, very important.
I agree. I think it is really like it's extremely free, and in the same way where like a massage therapist, like you're seeing a bunch of bodies every single day, and like you're just looking at it as, okay, how can I fix you? It's like I feel the least sexualized for the amount of people who are asking to see your butthole. I don't feel very like just an object as I walk around, in the same kind of way where like even if I'm on TikTok, I try to wear a higher shirt so when I lean over, I'm not gonna get just that's where the attention is going to. I feel like at the gathering, people can just be fully nude out, and even without like that, the prudishness of that, I feel like when I am walking around my own town, my own neighborhood, I do feel like if anything were to happen, and I have been in situations where, things have happened, unfortunately, out and about, and I don't know that if I were to just ask a stranger for help in the same way that it would be at the gathering. I think if I were to go up to any tent and say I felt uncomfortable, would you guys walk with me, or could you just make sure that I get somewhere safe? Like there's like an instant humanity like headlight that comes on. That person's like, yes, I'll help however I can.
Very well said, Deanna. Very well said. Um, all right, let's watch one more clip, and then I think I have to go. As much as I would never want to make you sad, Deanna, I think it's time.
That's okay. I have a pest person here who I think is going to set the puppies off soon. So
Did you just call me a pest?
never.
And you referred to me as a pest person? Why don't you just call me a pain in the ass?
Never.
Yeah, a pest person. A pest person. Do we have time? Do you think we got time?
An exterminator.
An exterminator.
Yes.
An exterminator. Do you think we have time for one more clip?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. This one just got posted last night. I love this clip. It's Chance talking about how he and his mom both shared a mutual love of ICP. Let's take a look.
Malenko was her favorite. My mom also listened to Insane Clown Posse. The Great Malenko was her favorite CD, and she passed away before a lot more came out. So she really never, even when more came out, she didn't give two shits about them. She just loved the Great Malenko, and she wouldn't call herself a juggalette. She was a juggalo. And once she was asked, "What is a juggalo?" and she wholesale told whoever asked her, "That son of a bitch sleeping in the back won't do the dishes. He won't get a job." I remember coming out and trying to defend myself like I'm still a child, like I was 16, I think. 16 when I was kicked out on the streets. I beat my stepdad up real good. Knocked his dentures out of his mouth, 2 punches. Polly gripped that motherfucker. You don't touch my mama. My mom also listened to Insane.
God, I love that clip so much. Love Chance so much. Really hoping to get him on the show eventually, sooner rather than later. Although it sounds like we've got a lot of people in the queue in order to be our next guest on the show, Deanna.
I would still love to have Chance, and I hope you could come on.
I'll take him any day. Anytime or any day. And Trisby asking where we're from. Deanna and I live in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Can't buy my Weezy says, yes, indeed. Love and miss us. Love and miss you too, Kirk. Hope to see you again soon. Hope to hear from you very soon. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, I think I personally do have to jump off and end this, which means that we're probably saying goodbye, Deanna.
I hate this for us and I hate this for the world, but we have to do what we have to do.
You know, I would never want to do this to you. I would never purposely hurt you in this way. But this is how it's shaken out.
I know. That's how the turkey crumbles.
Yes, exactly. This was a good one, I thought.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
I had a lot of fun. I always have fun doing this. Even when I've got some level of a cold or a sickness, and my body is racked with illness and disease.
And your ceiling is falling apart.
And my ceiling is falling apart around me, and my cat has had to be sequestered into my bedroom and locked in there with his litter box. And he's just a sad boy, a little sad boy on the bed trying to take a nap. Even with all of that going on, even with the world going to hell in a handbasket, Deanna, I know that I can count on us.
It is a bright spot in my day anytime we can do this.
Exactly. So let's do it again next week.
Okay, I'm so looking forward to it. I can't wait to see you, Mystic. I might cry. I'm not going to cry.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna. Well, I may cry. I may shed a tear.
Really?
Let's see. Thank you to everybody new in the chat. Also, let's give it up for Trizzy. Let's give it up for Kirk. Of course, always excited to see Kirk. Black Malenko, thank you so much for coming over from TikTok. Do hit that subscribe button. We've got lots more documentary coming here in the next few weeks. And Mystic, as always, thank you so much for joining. Crazy Steve, thank you. Deanna, let's hit him with a whoop whoop and get out of here.
Whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
Getting better. Getting better every week.
Getting there.
Getting better every week.